Hello and welcome learners in the series of session on international human resource management. Today we are going to discuss about the staffing of international recruitment and selection. So in this global world, the MNCs are expanding their businesses worldwide and across the borders to leverage the global opportunity. One of the critical challenges that the MNC may face is staffing the right candidate for the job, and they also it involves selecting the right person for the organization to meet the organizational goals, and it involves further we can say that the recruitment for the subsidiaries and for deploying the right person in the joint ventures or project based locations in different countries. It is a strategic function of international human resource management, and it involves the expatriate selection, their training, their compensation, and repatriation planning. It means the deploying these expatriates from their countries as well. And the success of this international operations often affect the effectiveness of staffing decisions, as these individuals are both the knowledge carriers for the organization, and they fill the gap, cultural gap between the headquarters and the subsidiaries. So it is essential to understand the principles, policies, and challenges of staffing international assignments, that for ensuring the organizational effectiveness and competitiveness globally. So let us understand what is recruitment and selection in general. So recruitment is searching for the right candidate and stimulating them for applying that particular job. This is recruitment. So based on the organizational goal, job descriptions are prepared, and then the candidates are recruited for selecting the most suitable person for that particular job. And sometimes we can say that selection is the multinational process. There is a lot of process involved in the selection process itself for screening the candidate to choose the right candidate or most suitable candidate for that particular job or the vacant post in the organization, so that the organization goals can be achieved. Now we talk about the international recruitment and selection. And the question arises that why international recruitment and selection is required. So the basic objective of recruitment and selection is to take in the people to get the job done. In other words, we can say that when there is a job to be performed, and if there is a job to be performed, then the performance of that said job requires the performer to possess certain skills and aptitude to that match the requirement of the job. And the another reason, maybe there is a short supply of employees possessing the required skill set for the particular job. So depending on the staffing strategy of the organization, organization can recruit the parent country nationals, host country nationals, or third country national, or a suitable candidate, or there is a third country national also that organization can recruit for this particular region. So what should the organization do if these three if there are the requirement for the job? So the organization can hire the people with required capabilities from the countries where the headquarter is situated, that is parent country nationals. Or another thing that organization can do is the organization can recruit from the local labor market, that is we say host country nationals. Or organization can recruit candidates from a country other than the parent country or the host country. Or it can also recruit from the, or organization can choose the combination of these three classes of employees that will be recruited. So practically most companies must go for the mixed approach in this situation for staffing approach to tackle the complex staffing issues in international situations. And now we talk about the different approaches of the staffing of multinational companies. So on the basis of geographic sourcing of their management teams, Palmer in 1969 classified the firms into 4 categories. So, or we say that the 4 approaches. The first approach is ethnocentric approach, and then polycentric approach, and geocentric approach, and the last one is regiocentric approach. So let us discuss these approaches one by one. Let us take the ethnocentric approach. So ethnocentric approach, all key positions in the subsidiary organization are filled up by the parent country nationals. This approach is used in the early stages of the internationalizing, especially when it is perceived that host country nationals are not sufficiently qualified to take up the senior position or to take up the jobs in the organization. And this approach paves the way who are not sufficiently way for headquarters control. If in all the key positions the employees are recruited from the parent country national, so of course there will be control in the hand of the parent country nationals, and their coordination and adequate communication also strengthen the parent country nationals. But the parent country nationals employed in the subsidiaries or expatriate, as they are generally called, they may make mistakes during their job or during their initial stages of adaptation of that particular culture, and this can prove to be costly also for the organizations. So this is about the ethnocentric approach. Now we come to the polycentric approach. Polycentric, in this approach, the headquarter is staffed by parent country nationals, and foreign subsidiaries are staffed by the host country nationals. This method is less costly than the ethnocentric approach. It eliminates the language barrier also, and between the managers and the customers, because they are from their own country. If employees from the headquarter are from their parent country national or from their own country, and in subsidiaries employees are from their own country or the local market, labor market, that is host country national. So there it removes the language barrier, cultural differences, because the culture of the managers and the customers are the same, and the public at large. It also denies opportunities for parent country nationals to take up international assignment and gain valuable exposure, which can propel their career forward to the high post or at the high speed also. Now, if we talk about the geocentric approach, in geocentric approach, the headquarter and the subsidiaries are staffed by the most suitable employees. He or she can be from any country, but he or she should be the most suitable employee for that particular job without taking into account the nationality of the employees. In this approach, multinational corporation is able to utilize the best talent between the headquarter and the subsidiaries as well. And also some employees may try to resist this approach because of the transfers involved from one country to another country. An employee well in one country, say his home country, and may not be able to perform well in foreign country, but certain countries, especially the developed nation, they impose restriction on free movement of the labor or employees to protect their interest of their citizens. They require a lot of documentation from them before a foreign nations to given a work permit. So it creates the difficulties in front of them, so that they cannot take up the foreign assignments, or they will be in culture shock also. And so this is the geocentric approach, and the next approach is regiocentric approach. As the name indicates, in geocentric approach, recruitment are on the basis of recruitment and selection are done on the basis of the regional requirements of the organization, or on the regional basis. Transfer are also restricted to countries within the region. For example, a manager working in the Asia Pacific region for a US MNC may be transferred to another country in the same region but not in the Europe. So this is regiocentric approach, that is recruitment and selection are done on the basis of the regions. So these are the different approaches that organization follows while doing the recruitment and selection internationally. So now these international recruitment and selection also influence the cultural factors. So the national culture of the one country may be vastly different from that of another country, and there are two dimensions of this aspect which we need to take care of during the recruitment and selection internationally. So these aspects are, first one is when the selection is done on a global scale. The cultural differences of the candidates may influence the results and conclusion of the selection process itself. And if the recruiters are not aware about the cultural background of the candidate in this situation, let us consider the non-verbal behavior which are considered appropriately or in some cases inappropriate in two work cultures. Let us say Western culture and Asian culture. In Western culture, a firm handshake and direct eye contact, it is considered as the candidate is confident and straightforwardness. But in Asian culture, this behavior is not acceptable, will not considered as appropriate behavior by the panel member or the recruiters. A weak handshake in Western culture may show the lack of confidence in the candidate, but in Asian culture, this may show the respect towards the recruiters. So there is a cultural difference among the recruiters and the candidates also. And the another situation is at the selection stage. careful consideration is to be given to the culture shock that the selected candidate is expected to experience in the country of work. So this is the two situation where the influence of cultural factors are seen in recruitment and selection internationally. Now in this influence of cultural factors, we are talking about the culture shock. This is a new term, and this is very important to understand what is the culture shock. So culture shock is when an individual are suddenly exposed to a new and unfamiliar cultural environment. Then culture shock is the psychological and emotional discomfort experienced by that individual while working in the foreign country. So there are 4 stages in cultural shock, and this cultural shock is defined by the U curve. This U curve, and in this U curve we can see that in x-axis there is a time in months shown and how much time the individual is taking or spending in another country for their work assignment, and on y-axis it may be seen that there is a degree of adjustment, कि at what degree he or she can adjust in the new culture. So the cultural shock is defined by these 4 stages, as we see in this U curve, that the first stage is honeymoon stage, and the second stage is that culture shock stage, and the third stage is adjustment stage, and the fourth stage is the mastery stage. So when an individual starts working in a new country, there are some barriers they may feel, or they are trying to adjust in that new culture also. So in initial phase we can see that in honeymoon phase, that is the initial phase of this culture shock. So in honeymoon phase everything is new, and the individual is taking this stage as the charming or fascinating. Because this at this time the culture is very new to that individual. So this is the honeymoon stage. And if we go further, as the time passes and their degree of adjustment becomes the downwards in that U curve, because he or she may find the difficulties in adjustment in the new culture. There are some hurdles, might be their families are not adjusting. So this is the second stage of the culture shock. So because there may be some language barriers to causes problem at this stage, and the individual and his family member become frustrated, they may be irritated, anxious and disappointed. When culture shock becomes intolerable, some managers may return to their parent country also. This is termed as the expatriate failure, and it is we can discuss this term in detail in later in this section. But those who choose to continue in this situation in the foreign country will undergo through the next stage, that is adjustment stage. As the time passes, they try to adjust, and in this U curve it shows the upward movement on the degree of adjustment. They are trying to adjust in the new culture in this stage. In this stage the individual gets to the new way of life, and his knowledge about the new culture is increased day by day slowly, and things that appeared quite strange in the beginning that will start appearing to the normal as time passes on. as time passes on, then he will go in the mastery stage. Then he starts enjoying the new culture. He is merging in the new culture, and in this stage the individual integrates himself into the new culture, and he accepts the good things of new culture, and some of the he inculcates some of the habits of that particular culture also. So this stage is also called the biculturalism, because the individual is going through the both culture in the same time, his own culture, and he gets mastery in the new culture also. So let us take some example of cultural differences that causing confusion and repulsion in the expatriate. One, let us take the example from the work situation. If for an American, time is at most the most important component, since it is scarce resource for them. Time is most precious element. Meeting deadlines are important, and being on time for a meeting is important in American culture. But in Arab countries, being asked to deadline are taken as the insult for the managers. In their opinion, they believe that important tasks take their own time to meet a deadline. The important task can take the own time for completion. There is a certain time of completion for every task. So in Arab countries, it is a insult to if we ask a manager to meet the deadline. So this is one of the example of this culture shock. So if the individual is not adjusting in that culture in the new country, then the expatriate may go back to their own country. So this is expatriate failure. So these are the stages that an individual go through the culture shock: the honeymoon stage, initial stage, then culture shock, and then adjustment stage, and the final stage is the mastery stage. Now let us talk about the recruitment methods. There are broadly two recruitment methods, that is internal recruitment and external recruitment. If the international recruitment is done internally within the organization, that we called this is the internal recruitment. The main source of effectiveness of this method is the familiarity between the organization and the candidate. So in this internal recruitment, the organization knows exactly about the candidate, what skills the candidate is possess, and they are very much familiar about their family condition also. Moreover, the candidate's family situation is known to the employer at least to a certain extent, and the employee also known or familiar about the terms and condition, policies and procedure of the organization also. So this is favorable for both employees as well as the organization. The another recruitment method is the external recruitment. So this is the most popular method for external recruitment of expatriate. These are the headhunting, cross-national advertising, and internet recruitment. Let us discuss about the headhunting. A headhunter is a third-party recruiter who acts as an independent contact between its client companies and the candidate it recruits for a position. International firm expect headhunter to provide an integrated and seamless global service with no cross-border barriers. So this is headhunting. And cross national advertising, as the name indicates, cross national advertising agencies think that they act in a global way to find the desired candidates from across the globe. And the advertiser can use the medium, but in general the popularity of press as a media of advertisement is on the decrease. So alternatively, methods like hoardings and posters, these are gaining importance or popularity nowadays. And while undertaking cross national advertising, cultural difference between nations have to be borne in mind in the campaign to succeed and to meet the organizational goals in terms of recruitment and selection. The next method is internet recruitment. This is very popular method. It is a process of personal recruitment using electronic resources, in particular the internet. It is one of the most effective way of recruitment in an international context, given the wide and unimaginable geographic reach of the internet. Mostly nowadays, MSCs are recruiting through this internet method, because technology can be used in advertising the vacancies, deal with application and select the candidates also. So advertising vacancy on the internet is the most common way of advertising or utilizing the power and reach of the internet. Then the advertisements can be placed on the company's website or on a third party website, that is recruitment agencies also. And these third party website, which are also called commercial job boards, are large database of the job vacancies, like naukri.com, timesjobs.com. And the application form can be filled up online. The recruitment process can be done on in online mode. So alternatively, the candidate can email the application or their resume to the recruiter, who can download the same for the further processing. And an extension of internet recruitment is the conducting of online test for screening and selecting the right candidate for that job is also done by the online mode or or through internet recruitment. So these are the external recruitment method. So this is that's all from my side for today's session. So in the next session we will discuss about the next topic. So till then, happy learning and thank you.